face has got me breaking out in hives. But we've got no choice. That ghost over there contacted me on Spectre Wave Radio, and we've cut a deal. He's promised us a key if you can whack 50 chickens. I guess he needs them to make a big pot of gumbo, but he's scared of the bob-toting roosters.
Did you like that intro?
No, I hated it. Fucking hate that minigame.
I think this is episode 5 of Gamer Tour.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah, it's something like that. It's
Yeah.
either it's more than 4.
It is more than 4.
Yeah, it's been a little while. We took a little bit of a break.
Yeah. Thankfully, not a whole lot has happened in our absence.
No, not
I
really.
do have a few things that I have written down to talk about, though.
Yeah. What would that be?
Did you see the Capcom Next?
I don't think so.
It was
I might have seen something
It
from
was the most disappointing piece of shit of all time.
That's
it was
probably
like-
why I don't know.
It was like an hour long, and all they talked about was the Dead Rising remake
Oh wow.
and a mobile port of some Resident Evil games
Mobile is in like
on your
the
phone.
Switch?
On your phone.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you can now play Resident Evil 7 on your iPhone 500.
Why the fuck would what?
Which maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was 8 or something. I don't fucking remember. But like,
That's even
who cares?
crazier.
Yeah, and
Like,
they talked.
How the fuck are you playing that on your phone?
Yeah, and they talked about it for the exact same amount of time they talked about the Dead Rising remake. It was
That's
awful.
awesome. That's great. I love Capcom.
I'm excited for the Dead Rising remake, though. I'll definitely get that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be better than the original game, but
I wonder how much they're selling those mobile Resident Evil games for.
I don't know actually. Probably like
So-
$20.
That's insane. I don't think I've ever seen a phone game cost more than like $6.
I've seen like all the ones that are like actual games that you can buy on like consoles are usually like $15 to $20.
Oh really?
Like Final Fantasy VII original is like $15.
I forgot you could get that on the phone.
Yeah, you can get like all those games on the phone.
That's crazy.
EDF 6 came out and I've been enjoying that.
Yeah.
But
how's that been?
it's been good, but apparently the PC port is bad because it's
oh
linked.
no, not again.
Yeah, it's linked to the Epic Games Store, and you have to have an Epic Games account if you want to buy it on Steam. And apparently, it's like ruining it's like bricking people's like login on the game, and it's like
Damn.
it's like borderline unplayable. So
That's terrible.
yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because another win for console gamers.
Yeah.
I've been having a shit ton of fun playing it, and too bad for everyone that bought it on PC.
Hell yeah.
That's
Bunch of idiots.
that's about all I wanted to talk about. Did you
Yeah.
want to talk about anything?
I haven't really had anything come up video game wise recently, but I did see Deadpool 3 today, or Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, how was that?
I enjoyed it. I think I liked it more than the other two, but I haven't seen either of the other two since the second one came out.
Yeah,
So it's
Norma
hard to
and
say.
I-
I will say this one, even if I rewatch the other two and I don't like this one more, it's instantly a better movie because T.J. Miller isn't in this one.
fair
So
enough.
it's way less annoying.
That's
because-
completely fair.
I was thinking about it on the ride home. I was like, I mean, it's kind of the same type of jokes in the other movies. So like, why did I like this one more? And it's like, oh, it's because there's not some dickhead every 5 minutes going, "You look like nuts on a map of nuts Spain." Like,
Yeah,
I
Norma and
fucking hate
I.
him. He's so annoying.
Norma and I just rewatched Deadpool 2 the other day. We did not rewatch 1,
Yeah.
so I can't have any fresh opinions on that one. But
What'd you think of 2?
it was not as good as I remember it being, but I still
Yeah.
enjoyed it. I think like the jokes landing are like half and half, but I think that's just because I'm not really like a crude humor kind of person. Like I don't
Yeah,
I don't laugh
I'd
when the funny guy on screen says fuck in every other sentence.
right. I'd say this one was probably also like half and half for me. It's kind of funny. I noticed that I was laughing more at like the subtle like background jokes than the actual like real big punchlines they were going for. Like don't get me wrong, there was a few like jokes that had setup that like made me laugh, but a lot of the times I laughed cuz like just stupid shit was happening that like you don't necessarily like not everyone will necessarily notice.
Yeah.
Like there's one part where like a dude comes up in a suit and he just has like insanely fat nuts like you can like see his nuts through the suit and they don't ever bring attention to it and it just made me laugh.
The only crime that Deadpool 2 commits is that the two best jokes are in credits gags.
Yeah. It's funny you say that cuz the best joke in this movie is also probably in the end credit gag. So or it's a post credit scene, I guess. So but it was good. I enjoyed it. I'll see it again at some point.
I don't know if I'll see it in theaters, but Norma and I will probably see it at some point.
Right. It's a pretty good send off to like the early 2000s era of Marvel movies before like Iron Man came out.
Okay.
It's pretty nice.
Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed that movie.
Yes, I'm glad it didn't suck because I was kind of worried.
Well, I guess was there any other gaming related stuff that I don't think that there was anything like big that happened really.
No, I don't think there's just been any big announcements or anything. It's been a pretty dry month.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can go ahead and get into our game that we are going to discuss, which this time was Sly Cooper in the Thievius Raccoonus,
Yeah.
a classic PS2 game. We played the emulated version on the PS5 that came out like I think last month.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. Which is partly why I wanted to recommend it since that just came out and it was free on PS Plus.
Right.
But yeah, it's a game that I've beaten before. This is your first time beating it.
It's my first time playing any of the games.
Yeah, yeah. So, what were your overall thoughts on the game?
I enjoyed it. I won't say I loved it. However, I will say that if I had a PlayStation 2 as a kid for myself and if I played this game when I was like 10, it would be like one of my favorite games ever probably.
That is completely
Or at
fair.
least it would be one of my favorite games as a kid anyway.
Yeah.
Cuz I enjoyed it. It's one of those games I could definitely see myself I could have seen myself replaying a bunch, like trying to 100% as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, as an adult that has limited time, I still enjoyed it a lot. I felt the middle of the game kind of got tiresome at some point, but then it kind of once you get to what's Panda King, once you get to his world, I thought the game really picked back up and it didn't really stop.
So did you like the Cold Heart of Hate?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot shorter than I expected it to be. I liked it. I enjoyed that it's kind of like a rush of levels. It's not structured the same as any other world.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like the first mini game there where you're on the car.
Yeah.
That one was it wasn't near as bad as the chicken game for me. Because I think that took like 8 or 9 tries to beat the Cold Heart of Hate minigame. Whereas the chicken minigame took upwards of 50 probably.
Here's my biggest issue with that minigame is because it takes away your lives when you lose, which I guess the chicken minigame probably does too.
Yeah.
But if you run out of lives, you have to restart like the entire like from your last save basically. So like you'd have to restart Cold Heart of Hate again and go through that like gunner segment.
Yeah, the gunner segment does suck too. Yeah. It's
which is my problem with the entirety of Cold Heart of the Cold Heart of Hate is it's just like it's really long, and if you don't have enough lives, or save states, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah, I think honestly, low key, the hardest part, obviously not the hardest part because that'd be like the first mini game, but the most difficult thing I found in that whole world was when you were on the shooting segments and the little birds were flying in.
Yes, yeah.
Those are so hard to hit for like no fucking reason. It's insane. Um, I think as far as the like car segment of the mini game where you have to collect the computers or whatever, I think any segment like that should just have like a top view. Like it shouldn't be the normal camera.
Yeah.
Because there would be so many times where I take out like two or three of the lava thing or whatever they are, and I would take out a few of them, and then I'd be like, okay, I have straight away. I can grab like two or three computers right here, and then I'd look up, and their score would just go up by like 6 or 7. I'm like, where the fuck are they? Like, what's
Yeah.
going on?
Well, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but
Yeah,
I upon replaying the game, I don't.
did you like it more or less?
I like it less than I did the first time I played it.
Yeah,
But I did go through and I got all of the pages of the Thievius Raccoonus from like the safes and stuff.
I did not.
I didn't do the like speed run level shit because like I didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
But
Is there a reward for that, or is it just like
you
for
get
the completion?
you get a behind the scenes movie allegedly, is what
Oh,
Bentley
okay,
says.
that makes sense. That makes sense because when I beat the game and I was looking at the collection, there was like two cutscenes I didn't have.
Yeah, you get one of them for getting all the pages, and then you get the other one for doing all the speedrun things.
That makes sense.
But yeah, I enjoyed the game. What I have surmised from my replay of it is that there's two major flaws this game has, and if it didn't have them, I think this might be a top 20 game for me.
Okay.
One, you die in one hit. You don't have a health system. The Lucky Charms like kind of exist, but the thing about those is that you have to either find them or you have to collect 100 coins to get one.
Yeah.
So it's
No,
not
it's actually-
it's not a reliable source of extra health.
It's actually insane, like how hard this game is. Actually.
Yeah.
Imagine if imagine if in Donkey Kong you only had one heart instead of two, and balloons were like 5 times more rare.
Yeah.
Like that's what that
Well-
game. That's what the game is.
What I was thinking of was like the first Ratchet and Clank. Like in that game, you have just like 4 health points. It doesn't matter who hits you. It doesn't matter what hits you. Like it always takes away 1 point off your health.
Right.
Whereas in the other games, it's more like RPG. Like you level up your health and certain attacks do more damage to it and stuff.
Yeah. Right.
I think that this game would have benefited greatly from having a health system like that, and you can tell that the designers like knew that it was bad because in all the games afterwards they have that health system where like there's like you can take like 4 hits or like you can upgrade it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's not. I don't think this game is that hard, except for like
It's not.
the last level is brutal.
Yeah. It's the game's only hard on like a fundamental level
Yeah.
just because of the way it's designed.
It's hard because it's an old game.
Yeah, it has PlayStation 2 itis.
Yeah, and the second problem that I think would be better if it just wasn't in the game is the life system, because like if we weren't using save states, like because I beat this game in the HD collection when like it didn't have save states, so I had to like grind out lives once I ran out.
Right.
Which is fairly easy to do because in the first level there's like 2 of them that are just up for grabs and you can just keep reloading the level and grabbing more. But like I think the game just would have been better if there wasn't a life system. Just you respawn at the checkpoints and like you don't have to worry about running out of lives.
Yeah, right.
And that's another thing that they removed from the sequels. So
Oh, that's nice.
but yeah, I think that if they had fixed one of those, this game might be a top 20 game for me.
Where does it lie now?
Let me see. It is number 32, right behind Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart and above Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay. I have mine at 45 right now. So
What's in front of it and behind it?
behind it is Balatro.
Really?
And in front of it is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure: Eyes of Heaven.
Okay.
One of my favorite anime games. So
All right.
it's in one of those segments on my list where I have like not middling but like average opinions of the games. And it's one of those, whenever I add a game to the list, I always add it to the very bottom and I just keep putting it ahead of a game until I'm like, okay, I can't do that anymore. So I will say, when I added it to my list, originally I had Devil May Cry 1 at like 46, and I moved some stuff around, so Devil May Cry 1 is at 43 now.
Okay.
So, but I couldn't put Sly Cooper ahead of that or the JoJo's game, but I also I didn't want to have it behind Balatro or anything like that because that I don't actually feel that way. Like I feel like I would get more out of Sly Cooper than Balatro in the long run.
That's fair.
If I like, since it's a series, you know.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's good. It's a pretty average spot on my list, but it's a pretty tight list anyway, so.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the whole game like as like a like let's talk about the levels and stuff, starting with the frog level.
Yeah.
I think that the beginning of this game is really, really good. Like the whole the beginning segment where you're in France and you break into the police station and Carmelita chases you. That's a really good opening to the game.
It is.
And I also think that Sir Raleigh is a really good first like antagonist, because he's definitely the fucking weakest of the Fiendish Five.
Definitely.
And he's a pretty easy boss, but I really like the like shipwreck yard like setting that his area's in.
Yeah, I think honestly his whole like hub area might be my favorite in the game.
It's just really like it's very simple and like it doesn't. There's nothing like. There's no annoying shit in it like
Right.
A lot of the later levels have like a bunch of like really weird like platforming in them, and I think Mugshot's turf isn't that bad, but the voodoo area kind of has a lot of like weird like platforming, and like it has a lot of like it has a chicken mini game in it.
I'll be honest, man. The voodoo area is just it's the rotten egg in the bunch.
Yeah, and I don't hate the Panda King area, but the level of Flaming Temple of Flame is my least favorite level in the game, and I will tell you why once we get there.
Which level's that?
It's
we'll wait.
Yeah.
Ease into it.
But yeah, I definitely, I don't know, I think Mugshot's turf is probably my favorite area, but the shipwreck area is one of the better ones for sure.
Yeah, that's great. Like you said, it's simple. I think honestly it was the only place I never got lost on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's probably not true, but because I know Voodoo, man, it didn't help that I took a bit of a break while I was on the Voodoo part, because I went through the first two worlds like pretty quick, and then obviously the last 2 days I went through worlds 4 and 5 pretty quick. But Voodoo, yeah, there was a moment or two where like I had to just look around for what level I haven't done yet.
Oh, like in the hub world area?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of Raleigh? Did you like him?
I liked Raleigh. I liked all the villains, really.
Yeah, they are all cool villains.
They're great. I don't think I really had any issues with any of them as characters.
No, Raleigh's definitely the weakest of the bunch, I think, in terms of his character.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
But it story-wise, it does help that all of them have like the connection to Sly, that like they killed his parents basically. So every
Right.
time you fight one of them, you have like a little bit of banter with them before you fight them, and it's always entertaining.
Yeah. Speaking of the banter, I don't want to go too far off the deep end just yet, but I think Sly Cooper is maybe the most swaggy PlayStation exclusive character in general.
Yeah, he is very like he's like the PlayStation version of like Han Solo almost. Like
That is not what I expected you to say, but it makes sense.
yeah, I mean he's like a I won't say he's a womanizer because really the only woman he ever goes after is Carmelita, but you know he like hits on her.
I don't blame
and
him. I
yeah,
don't blame him.
yeah, I know that's something I was gonna ask you is like are you in love with Carmelita Fox now?
No. I'll say this though. I like her more than Chica from Five Nights at Freddy's. So
Fair enough.
that's the only scale I'll give you.
But yeah, and Bentley and Murray are great characters.
They're
They bounce
great.
off of Sly really well, so especially Bentley, since
Yeah,
he's
Bentley's
like a
great.
yeah he's just like a like scared nerd.
Uh-huh.
And he,
I love whenever he explains something like in the final world, or not the final world. It's in the King Panda world. Whenever he's like telling him to use the fireworks to get up, he's like, "And what about the 1% chance it doesn't work?" He's like, "You'll blow up and it'll be crazy." He's really funny because he doesn't, he doesn't cut shit or anything.
Yeah.
He just says exactly what's gonna happen.
yeah, Murray is a
You
bit
know.
of a weaker character in this one, but he gets a lot better in the later games though.
Yeah. Murray
Um,
definitely felt like to me that they had Bentley and Sly and they're like, okay, this is a pretty fucking good dynamic, but it'd be weird if there were just the two of them.
Yeah,
I feel like they made Murray almost out of a necessity.
yeah,
I'm
and
I'm sure he gets more shit to do in the other games.
yeah,
but
definitely.
in this one he definitely felt like just like a means to an end to like make the party bigger.
Yeah, I think that the main thing that they needed to do with Murray was like, okay, we need someone to actually like be in the field with Sly for these missions where he's like you're like shooting at the enemies while Murray's like going to the get the key in those
Yeah.
missions, and like somebody's got to drive the car in those like driving
Right.
mini games. But Bentley clearly doesn't want anything to do with like the field stuff. So
Yeah.
I think that's the only reason they made
I
Murray.
did like the two car mini games where you race.
Yeah, the
I
racing
like
ones are
those.
good.
Those are fun.
Some of the mini games were good. Like
Yeah.
I think that the crab one, where like you have to shoot the crabs and take the treasure chest, that one was fun. It wasn't hard or anything.
Fuck no.
Um,
I didn't hate that one, but I didn't love it.
Fair enough. The ones where you get on the blaster thing and like drive around, those were all right. I don't think I
Yeah.
ever died on those.
I liked the Bentley mini game from the last world.
Yeah,
that was
there's also a lot more of those in the later games too.
That's cool because after I did it and like I realized that the final world was like wrapping up because it's just like mission after mission. I was like, man, I kind of wish there were more Bentley mini games.
Yeah.
Instead of all the Murray ones.
Yeah, the Bentley
But-
ones are always fun. And the one that's in this game is probably the best mini game in the game.
Probably, honestly.
It's not very long, and like it's a little bit frustrating if you don't have like because every time you die, you lose a life, and you have to restart from
Right.
like the very beginning of the level.
Yeah.
But it wasn't too bad though, as long as you were careful.
The only issue I had with that mini game is like when you got hit, you had like literally 1 nanosecond of invincibility.
Oh
So it's
yeah.
like if, you could like just bounce off of things and take damage like twice or three times even.
Yeah, I don't think they really had to make the like walls that you're shooting to get the things out. I don't think they really had to make those damage you because the things are already shooting like those shurikens at you and they immediately kill you.
I feel like it'd be way too easy if they didn't damage you.
I guess so.
It
but-
adds a sense of like not platforming but like positioning to it to where it's not like you're not just looking for the attacks, you're also
Yeah.
like being mindful of the environment and stuff.
Yeah. But no, that was
I
a
enjoyed
good
that one.
mini game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean the chicken one obviously is like awful.
It's so bad. Honest to God, like either either don't have a timer on it, so you can just kind of like, if it didn't have a timer, I'd have beaten it first try.
Yeah.
Because it's like you get down to like 10 seconds, you need like 6 more, and you're just freaking the fuck out, and then like 2 of the bombs come out, and you're just like, oh shit, and then there's 3 seconds left, and you only need 2 more chickens, and you try to hit them, but you get blown up, and then you have to re-fucking start. It's
Yeah.
like, it's a mess.
Unfair timers are the staple of the PS2 era, Donovan. Haven't you ever played Simpsons Hit and Run?
No. That mini game irked me so bad. Like it's the worst part of it is that I would see like three or four, like a bundle of chickens all together. I'm like, okay, I'll go over there and hit them. And I would just happen to be next to a door, and the game would always spawn one of the bombs right outside of that door. And I'm just like, cool. Guess I'm restarting because I tried doing the objective. Awesome.
Yeah.
Like, if it gave you a little more of, like, a warning as to which doors they were coming out of, that'd be cool. That'd be fine. But, they don't.
Yeah, for a second when I was playing that one, I thought I was, like, a genius, because I was like, oh, what if I threw down a decoy in here?
Uh-huh.
They did not pay attention to it at all.
Yeah. I think, you know what else would have saved that minigame, probably? Is, you know the safe spots you can jump onto?
Yeah.
They should have just made those the things where you can press the action button to, like, actually land on them.
Yeah.
Because the platforming, like, sliding off or, like, accidentally jumping over killed me so many fucking times. Like, if they just did that one simple fix, it would have been fine. Like, keep the timer, keep the bombs, everything. Just make that fix.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a struggle.
Yeah.
Getting through that one.
No, I pretty quickly decided that I was just gonna fucking use save states on that one.
Yeah. That was the first mission in the game where I had to start using save states because
Yeah.
I got down to like 2 fucking lives left, and I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah, I didn't feel too bad about it because I've already beaten the game once without using them.
Yeah.
And I remember like fucking biting my hand and like tearing my hair out over that minigame before.
Right.
I feel like I wasn't gonna gain anything from wasting my time on it.
Yeah.
And I don't blame you for using them either.
Yeah, I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm just trying to play the game. So, World 2, that was a fun World 2.
Yeah, I think Mugshot is probably the most iconic villain in this game, other than
I can see that.
Clockwork.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can definitely see that.
Like series wise, because I think him and Panda King end up coming back in later games.
That's good because Panda King is probably my favorite boss in the game.
Yeah. And obviously Clockwork is like the be-all end-all Sly villain, so he's not the main bad guy in all of them, but he's in, I think, every Sly Cooper game in some way.
Okay, that's cool.
It's actually really cool in Thieves in Time, the 4th game, because like that game kind of like isn't that good, but it's a time travel game, so like you go back and actually meet the Cooper ancestors that are like in the book.
That's a cool idea.
And in all of the open hub areas, if you look in the right spot, you can see Clockwork like just sitting up like in the like skybox, like watching you.
That's pretty cool.
And it's kind of fucking creepy the first time you like find him. But yeah, he's in all of the areas, and it's really cool.
That is pretty neat.
But yeah, Mugshot's a great villain. I hate his fucking boss fight. I think he probably has the worst boss fight out of all of them.
I agree. That was the first boss fight that I think that's honestly the first level that killed me more than once.
That makes sense, yeah.
Because that boss, it took me a minute to understand what the fuck was going, like what I was supposed to do.
It's hardly even a boss fight. It's more like a fucking puzzle.
Yeah, really. It's definitely the most like, well, it's probably the most like a puzzle. I wouldn't say the third one's a puzzle, but
No.
the third boss kind of pissed me off too.
Yeah, but we'll get there in a little bit.
Yeah.
I think the thing about the mugshot fight is that like it already didn't really make sense at all, because like you're turning on the mirrors to like point into the crystals to like make his guns not work.
Yeah.
And then
it's weird.
it's kind of funny too because he like after he just throws his guns away and then he's like, "Oh, luckily I got a spare over here."
Yeah. He's like, I got more upstairs. Or whatever it was.
And then yeah, you do that 3 times and that got really fucking old.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that bad boss fight, I love that area. I love those levels in that area.
Yeah. That's a really good one.
Like
Those were probably my favorite actual like levels with the that you actually like do stuff in, not just the hub world.
yeah, like they felt like better designed than the other ones. Especially
Yeah, for
that
sure.
one where you have to like you climb up to the top of that building and then drop like a wrecking ball on the ceiling.
Yeah.
That one is really fun.
Yeah.
And like the whole level, like you end up back at the bottom by the end of it.
Yeah.
It was just really
the
well
whole
designed.
level, the level in that world where Carmelita chases you, that's one of my favorite levels in the
Yeah,
game.
all the
Probably.
levels where Carmelita chases you are really good.
Yeah, I like them a lot. Her and Sly have a pretty good dynamic in the game. Like as far as she's pretty well just like a straight written character.
Yeah.
Like nothing's really too super interesting about her, but Sly just he works off of her so well.
Yeah.
It's great. It's always great when they show up.
Yeah. No, it was a really good like villain and or I mean I guess she's not a villain, but she's like an antagonist.
Antagonist.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they do bounce off of each other really well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that their dialogue together was probably my favorite in the game. Like Bentley
Yeah.
and him had some good ones, and some of the villains had some really good ones with him. But I
Yeah,
think
him and Clockwork had pretty good dialogue.
yeah. But yeah, she was a lot of fun though. Well, so the next one was Miss Ruby's the Voodoo Swamp.
Yeah.
And I do not hate that area, but it is definitely the most annoying area out of all of them.
For sure. I wouldn't say I hate the area. Just the chicken minigame is the only thing I'd say I hate.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the level, like it's a cool designed level, like as far as like the setting of it. But and the enemies are pretty cool in the area too.
Yeah,
like,
the enemies are
design-wise.
cool. I think that some of them are kind of annoying though because they come out of spawners and like you
Yeah,
have to do
those-
specific things to like make sure they don't come back.
Yeah. Those are a little annoying. I don't mind them too much though. What I really didn't like was the flying enemies, like the bugs and stuff.
Yeah, the
'Cause
mosquitoes suck.
Sometimes I don't know if it was just me or the game, but like the depth perception is kind of hard to tell sometimes. Like if
It
you
is.
jump, how far you'll actually get to hitting them.
Yeah.
And then obviously if you miss, they just hit you. So
Yeah.
that could be a little annoying, but it wasn't the worst thing in the game.
No. A level that is conceptually cool, but I don't like is that level where you free that snake thing.
And it chases you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
The
cool
Killer
level.
Croc segment.
Yeah, it's a cool level, but the platforming like felt really janky in that one.
I'll be honest, the platforming feels pretty janky in most of the game, in my opinion.
I don't know if I think that for most of the game it feels pretty smooth. I mean it is an old game, but
I'll give it this. Compared to other games that were coming out in 2002, it's way better.
yeah,
But for someone like me that doesn't really play old video games, it took some adjusting.
yeah. No, and the camera angles and stuff are like I don't think that those are really good. They don't
good,
help.
but- Yeah, they're not good, but like once again, they're better than a lot of other PlayStation 2 games.
Yeah, I think that. Let me see real quick when Ratchet and Clank 1 came out because that is a really
Pretty
good
sure it was
platform.
2001.
Okay, yeah. The platforming in that game is awesome, and like I don't
Yeah.
have any issues with that game.
Right.
And to be fair, Sly Cooper's trying to do a different thing because it's like a stealth game. So like you're attaching to walls and like crawling around.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Some of it felt really janky.
Oh yeah. I feel like pretty much any time you had to do something like in a hurry, like if something was chasing you or stuff like that, I feel like it kind of got more janky then because you couldn't really take your time with it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
a lot of the time it wasn't that bad though.
No, yeah. I think that the time limits on the levels are really what get you. Like you know that level in a Cold Heart of Hate when you have to like the Mustafar level from
Yes.
Lego Star Wars.
Yeah.
You have to like run around and like the lava's rising up and that level was fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime where you have to hurry, the platforming kind of falls on its face.
Yeah.
And maybe we just suck, but
That's always a possibility. I'm never gonna say that's not on the table.
yeah. The Miss Ruby fight potentially could have been the best boss fight in the game, but and I assume that you also encountered it. I think some of the prompts like were very like there was very weird timing on them, and sometimes like it felt like you got it right, but then you would still get hit anyway.
Yeah, it's like the timing of when you were supposed to press it changed every phase.
Yeah,
like it was super weird.
yeah.
Like I was getting pretty frustrated at some point. Luckily, I had a horseshoe because like I was on like the last segment where you have to do those buttons, and I lost my horseshoe on the attempt I beat her like to the last fucking thing, and I was like, if I didn't have that and I had to restart, I'd be so fucking mad.
Yeah, I restarted enough times to where like I kind of got used to like the timings being a little weird.
Yeah.
But no, it definitely could have been better though.
Yeah, it was just strange.
But I like that fight though, like conceptually. Yeah. If the
I like that all the fights do their own thing.
Yeah,
like pretty well, honestly. Like they're all fairly distinct.
I feel like the timings on those were one of the things that were fixed in the HD collection too, because I don't remember having that problem with that fight in that.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure I probably died a few times, but
that seems like an easy fix to make in like a HD recollection or something.
And maybe the emulator that the PS5, PS2 emulator is poopy.
I'm sure that is also the case.
But yeah, it's could have been one of the cooler fights in the game, but the prompts just didn't feel right.
No doubt.
So then after Miss Ruby, there was Panda King.
The best.
Yeah, he was definitely the best boss fight in the game.
Yeah.
And his area was cool too. There were a few, like I said, Flaming Temple of Flame, fucking hate that level. And it's not even because the level's like poorly designed, but there is this stupid fucking like thing they do at the end of it, where like the safe at the end of it. You know how whenever you get like all the bottles, you can open them?
Yeah.
For specifically that one, for some fucking reason, when you get there and you have all the bottles, Bentley's like, "Oh, sorry, Sly, this clue was written in Owl. You have to kill the final boss."
That's so stupid.
It is stupid.
Why
because
the fuck would they do that?
And that level already has probably the most annoying bottle placements in it out of any of the other levels. So, like, I played through that level probably, like, 4 times, like, up until that point.
Yeah.
Maybe not that many, maybe, like, 3. But then when I got there and I saw that, because I hadn't beaten the boss yet, I was like, fuck.
Whenever you revisit a mission, do you have to, like, recollect the clues?
No, it keeps the ones that you already got.
Okay, that's cool.
And some of the levels like are easier to do when you come back because you might find like the blueprints that tell you where the bottles are at in the levels.
Do you want to know the funniest fucking thing in the world?
What?
Okay, so when I was going through King Panda's world, I think I collected all the clues on like 2 levels, I think. And one of the ones that I got all the clues for was the last level I did in that world. And that was the one that had the blueprint. That was the first level in the game where I got a blueprint. So, on the very last level in the game that I had left to do, where I could get clues and like get a safe, I finally found out there was an item that let you find the clues easier.
That's awesome.
So it was, I felt so stupid whenever I found it. 'Cause I can't tell you how many times I finished a level and I'd have like fucking like 30 out of 32 clues or like in that ballpark. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, well, I don't really feel like replaying it just yet. Maybe I will later.
Yeah.
But I think I ended up getting like 13 or 14 of the safes throughout the game. I kind of didn't really care that much in the first world, but then I got like 2 or 3 in Mugshots world, and I was like, oh, these give you cool shit. I should fucking do this.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, one complaint I do have about the game is that the abilities are like they're not really that useful. Like I didn't really use them
No.
that much, even though I was getting all of them.
I used dive for 90% of the game.
Yeah. Funnily enough, the most useful one is the last one you get because it just like stuns every enemy in the level for like 3 seconds.
Oh wow,
And it doesn't have like a cooldown on it or anything.
that's insanely
Which
good.
I guess I can understand why they wanted to wait to give you that until after you beat the game. But
Right.
I don't know. Some of them were conceptually cool. Like Decoy is cool.
Yeah, that one's
And
cool.
the mines are cool.
Yeah, that's came to my mind too.
The slowdown ones are like they might be useful at some point.
That one, the slow jump one, made me laugh when I got it because I'm like, in what situation is this gonna help?
Later on, you do get an upgrade for it that gives you like you can use it whenever you want.
Okay,
Which
that's cool.
I mean, it doesn't make it that much more useful, but
Sure.
yeah, and like the roll was fun, but I didn't use it that much.
Yeah.
And there's one that like speeds up the game, which like I don't know why you would want to do that.
That's weird.
Actually, I guess you might want to use that for like when you're like trying to get past like the spotlights and like you're waiting for them to go away. I guess that I never thought of that when I was playing the game, but that might be useful for that.
Live and learn.
The only really useful one makes your ability better that makes you turn invisible when you hold circle.
That one's really good.
Because then when you get that one, you can walk while using it.
Oh, that's cool.
I take it you probably didn't get that one.
No, I didn't.
Now, you do walk at a literal snail's pace, but...
Right, but still.
Yeah, it was very useful.
Nice.
Yeah,
that is cool.
that and the blueprints were really like the only useful ones that I actually used. I mean, the dive was useful like early on, but I found myself not using it that much anymore, especially after I got the invisible ability.
See, me as a fighting game player, I kept using dive as like a neutral option where I'd walk forward a little bit and back up, and they would do their attack, and then I would dive because it would have enough range to hit them. I felt so smart. I felt great.
Yeah. No, they're cool ideas, but most of them, the game wouldn't be any different if they were not included.
Yeah. Now I will say, playing through the game now, I really wish Sly Cooper got into Smash Brothers. I feel like he would have been. I honestly, I feel like he might have worked better than Ratchet and Clank.
But he's in PlayStation All Stars, Donovan.
That's true. Give me a second one of those. Honestly, I feel like with how big like arena fighters have become, I feel like they could make a second. Obviously don't call it All Stars Battle Royale 2, because then everyone will be like, oh, that game sucked.
Yeah.
But if PlayStation tried it again, I feel like they could do a better job.
Yeah, I hope they do at some point.
Yeah.
But
They've definitely gotten a lot more characters since then, or at least updated versions of characters.
yeah.
But
Yeah, once if the Sly Cooper sequels ever get downloadable ports, I might recommend those at some point on the podcast, because Like, I haven't beaten any of them. This is the only Sly Cooper game that I've beaten other than Thieves in Time.
Uh-huh. There's only 4 of them, right?
Yeah. But those games handle the abilities and stuff so much better because when you get coins, they don't build up into, like, getting, like, extra lives or horseshoes.
Uh-huh.
You can just spend them on abilities, and you can spend them on, like upgrades.
That's cool.
And you have multiple characters that you can play as in those games. Like, there's a whole bunch of, like, you can play as Bentley, you can play as Murray, and you can unlock abilities for them. Yeah, those games, I need to beat them at some point because they're really fun. They are also pretty hard, but I don't think that they're as hard as this game though.
Yeah, I mean, if 2 and 3 improve upon this one, I mean, it's probably a pretty damn good game.
The only thing that Sly 2 and 3 don't have over this game, I think, is the villain roster.
Oh,
because
yeah.
that's something that 4 really suffers from. 4 has god awful villains.
Really? Sucks.
And the third game has pretty bad villains also, but they aren't quite as bad.
That sucks.
Sly 2 is generally considered to be the best game out of the series.
Interesting. Okay. I don't know why, but I've always had the thought. I heard it. I must have heard somebody say it years ago, but I always had the impression that 3 was the best game.
I mean,
or
3
considered the best game.
3 is the funnest one. I bet Josh probably told you that.
Maybe.
Because he's also, I don't think he's beaten any of them, but he's played all of them.
Oh, I know where I heard it. There was a kid in my construction class sophomore year who had a YouTube channel. And one day, me and my friend Jacob were watching his YouTube channel because he uploaded an Assassin's Creed Black Flag live stream. And this kid was like borderline stupid as shit. I won't say the R word, but he might have been retarded. So he streamed Black Flag for like an hour, and we watched it. And as soon as you clicked on the stream, his intro to it was Black Flag. No better place to be a pirate than Sly Cooper 3 on the PS2.
So that's what Josh keeps referencing.
Dude, it's so fucking funny.
That does sound
that
pretty
kid
funny.
Was like, we used to call that kid Barnacle Boy because he was so big that like there were growths on his neck.
Those
were the days. No better place to be a pirate.
Jesus Christ.
So as far as the final level in the game, the final world, did you like the rest of it, not just right? I guess it is all just mini games, really. But like, what was your overall opinion of the whole final world?
I didn't like it.
No.
So I think that if it was like the same as the other ones, where like it had a hub world and you'd travel to the levels that way, I think that, I mean, obviously it is unique because it isn't like that, but it's like a million times harder because 1, you can't choose what order you do the levels in, and 2, if you die enough times in one of them, you have to restart the entire goddamn thing.
Yeah.
Or like, we obviously have the save states, but if you were on PS2 or like even on the HD collection, if you quit out of the game, like if you just didn't want to finish it, you'd have to restart all over again. Like you couldn't just like pick up and leave. Right.
No, like I said earlier, if I played this game when I was a kid, I would have spent so much time trying to like do everything. Yeah. So this definitely would have taken me probably like months to beat. Which would have been cool as a kid because, you know, you only get, or at least when I was a kid, you know, you only get a few games a year. So
yeah, if I had this game when I was a kid, I probably would have played the shit out of it.
Yeah, definitely. Because I played the shit out of Size Matters, and that's like the worst Ratchet and Clank apparently.
It's not as bad as Secret Agent Clank, but
that's not a Ratchet and Clank game though. That's a Clank game.
It has Ratchet in it.
It's not called Ratchet and Clank. Get fucked.
Ratchet Deadlocked is a Ratchet and Clank game, but doesn't have Clank in the title.
damn. I've been got. You win the debate. I liked the last level. I think, like you said though, having to restart fucking sucked.
Did you use save states on it, or
I did after, what level was it?
burning rubber?
No, it was. What's the second one you do after the computer in the cars?
It might be
Either
the
way,
one where you
whatever it
rescue
is.
Carmelita.
Oh yeah, it's that. Okay, so whatever is, yeah, because it's that, and then you do the Bentley minigame. So
Yeah.
whatever's after the Bentley minigame, I had not used save states yet since the first one.
Oh, it's the one where you play as Carmelita and you have to defend Sly.
Yes.
Fuck that one.
Yeah. Yeah. So I lost on that one. I didn't do a save state since the car one. So I was like, oh, okay. Because I only had the one life left at the time.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the end of the game I was kind of hit.
Yeah.
But I don't think I ever had double digit lives after the second world, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough.
But
No, I hated that segment. Like, it was way worse than the Murray ones because those lava things, they took multiple hits to take down,
Yeah.
and they were so fucking fast. And they blended into the environment. You could not see them until it was too late.
Yep.
It was awful.
I know.
And then those
my
birds are like super hard to hit too.
Yeah, fuck the birds, dude. I know. When the first lava enemy came out and I shot it and it didn't die, I was like, my heart sank. I was like, oh god. One of these segments where like it takes more than one shot, like that's the only way the other ones are even possible, I feel like.
Yeah.
And then like 40 seconds into it, the first bird comes in and my heart sank even deeper. Like it was outside of my body through my asshole at this point. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And then I lost and it sucked. But yeah, I started using save states after that.
Fair enough.
For like every single level. Like I said, I wasn't trying to impress nobody. I just wanted to beat it.
Yeah.
But I like how unique the final world is. You know, like you said, all the other ones are structured the same way, where you have a few mini games, you have all your run and gun levels, so to speak. But then the final one's kind of like not a boss rush, but like a level rush, where it's just like you boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And it's all different every level. You never do the same thing twice, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I like it for being unique. It's just that, like...
Yeah, it's just very hard.
Yeah.
Without save states.
Yeah.
I thought the final boss was cool. It definitely felt like a PlayStation 2 final boss.
Yeah.
Where for some reason, every other game on the PlayStation 2, the final boss, you're flying, shooting it with something.
You're thinking of Devil May Cry 1.
Yes, I am. That's the I swear to God, I blinked and I saw the Mundus fight in my head.
It is very similar to the Mundus fight.
Yeah.
Except once you get him on the ground, he's not harder to fight.
Yeah, no. I was surprised whenever I got him down and he's like, go hit his head, this is your only chance, and I did the platforming segment and I got to his head and I literally pressed square like 8 times and then the game ended and I was like, oh, that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which I'm glad that's how it was.
Yeah.
Dude, when I played this
thought
game,
it was a good fight.
when I played this game on the HD collection, dude, like this was one of the most stressful boss fights I've ever had in my life.
Oh yeah.
Because
sure.
like,
everything's on the line.
Yeah, I had already had like 20 lives saved up because I knew I was gonna need them.
Yeah.
And like by the time I got to the final fight, I probably had like 6 left, like 7, like I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that I beat Clockwork on like my last life or
my
my
God.
second last life. It was so fucking stressful.
Yeah.
And when I beat this game, I was streaming it on a PS Plus also. Like
Oh my God.
I was playing the HD collection version of it, streaming it on PlayStation Plus.
That's insane.
So I feel like there was probably a little bit of input lag that was like fucking me up even more.
Sure, yeah.
So like, it's probably not as bad as I thought it was. Like then, but no, I was so fucking like mortified. I was gonna have to start all over. I don't know if I would have beaten the game if I died.
Dude, could you imagine if like if there was a live system in like Dark Souls and it's like you die to the bed of chaos and you lose all your lives and you have to start back from like after the centipede fight?
Yeah, lives are something that I am not missing from like the golden era of gaming.
No. Honestly, I feel like lives only work in games
Mario.
like Mario, yeah, Mario, Donkey Kong, like the ones that fucking literally created the system.
Yeah.
Like that's the only shit that works, honestly.
Yeah, because like they only exist to like make your playthrough longer, really.
Yeah,
Because
I
you
think
either have to
in,
grind more or you have to start over, like from a
right.
longer point.
I think honestly a series that handles a live system, so to speak, pretty well is the Devil May Cry series. I think gold orbs are a pretty good way to do it because you have your traditional health bar that you can upgrade throughout the game,
Hmm.
and then you have those orbs that you can choose whether to not or use.
Yeah.
Uh, I think that system works pretty well. But as far as games like this, where you can only get hit like once or twice, and then your life just disappears, it's like fuck.
Yeah, and like I said, the lives
So
wouldn't be that
tough.
big of an issue if you could take like 4 hits, like in Ratchet and
Yeah.
Clank.
Yeah, if you could stockpile a few of the horseshoes, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be fine. Honestly, if they changed it to where you could stockpile up to like 4 or 5 horseshoes and it only took like 50 coins instead of 100,
Yeah.
you're good.
Yeah.
You fixed the game completely almost. Um,
I think you also don't find like literally any Lucky Charms in Cold Heart of Hate. Also, so like
yeah, I didn't see any.
there's like hardly any fucking coins in that area either.
Right,
So like
yeah.
once you lose like however many horseshoes you had, you ain't getting them back, Bucko.
Yeah, no. Yes. Now that you mention it, there's not a lot of shit that you can do to like prevent yourself from dying in the
Yeah.
last world.
Because like, it feels like those mini games are like designed to like whittle your health down like
Oh yeah, for sure.
for that final boss.
Yeah, that's why it's a rush.
It's like
I'm sure.
Armstrong.
Yeah, honestly.
But yeah, it's I mean, Clockwork is definitely the coolest villain in this game, but he was not anywhere near my favorite boss fight.
Yeah, no.
I mean, it's a cool fight, but it's just like everything leading up to it is just such a pain in the ass.
yeah.
Like I never want to play that level again if I don't have to.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you enjoyed it though.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was nice. It definitely. I love when a game's ending actually feels like an ending,
Yeah.
and because they changed the structure of the world and they made it a level rush, and then the final fight it's in the air, which is like obviously a trope of the time, but it was the first boss fight like that in the game, so
Yeah.
it felt more unique.
What I think is funny is that Carmelita just happened to bring a jetpack with her and she didn't have it on her.
Yeah, there's a few things like that in the game where it's like,
Yeah,
it's like you said with the mugshot fight where he's like, I got another weapon over
Yeah.
here.
But
Like-
these games are like they're very cartoony, like comic
dude,
booky. Like
they're
even
cheesy
down
as
to the
hell.
even down to the art style, it feels like cartoony.
Speaking of the
which
art
fits
style,
it really well.
speaking of the art style, after I beat the game, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. There was a Japanese cutscene.
Oh yeah,
That felt. I was laughing the whole time it was playing. It confused the fuck out of me.
yeah.
But it was pretty funny. Games don't do shit like that anymore.
Yeah.
It made me laugh quite a bit. Just all the Japanese pronunciation, like "miri," like all that shit was goofy.
You know,
And it had, like,
speaking of movies, you know what's fucking funny?
a-
Sly Cooper probably would have made like a better movie than like Ratchet and Clank or like any of the other
100%.
like PlayStation movies they've been trying to make.
100%.
And then that's the one that got canceled. I mean, to be fair, it looked like ass, but
Yeah.
if it was done right,
Honestly, Sly Cooper, it has the skeleton to be a pretty damn good Pixar movie. Honestly.
yeah. Well, like,
Or like even a Pixar franchise or something.
they
or
made-
DreamWorks.
yeah, if they made a Sly Cooper movie and they animated it in like the Spider-Verse style or like 2D animation, like something like that, it would be
Yeah.
awesome. Because like, I don't know if you ever saw the trailer for the Sly Cooper movie, but it was like this like ass ugly CGI.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Was it like a completed movie or like
it
was it
wasn't
like an early
completed.
stage?
It was I think it was just a trailer. I don't know how much of the movie they had done, but I'm pretty sure it
Hmm.
was just like a like you know how when they like show off a demo at like E3 and like clearly like they haven't even started like really working on the game yet. It's just like a CGI trailer.
Uh-huh.
That's what it felt like.
I have the trailer pulled up now. I'm taking a peek at it. It yeah, that looks weird.
Yeah.
That looks really weird. Looks like a genuinely this looks like a fan animation.
Yeah.
Like it's strange.
You know,
Uh
if they made like a if they made it like stylized though, they could turn this into a pretty good movie.
oh, for
I
sure.
mean, if they did Ratchet and Clank right, they could have made a good movie too. But
Yeah. I feel like Sly Cooper it's a little easier to do because it's not as like nuanced of a plot.
yeah,
Pretty straightforward. Which I
this
enjoyed it.
is like a revenge story, but like without the revenge. Like Sly doesn't really
Yeah.
have hold any grudges against these people. He just wants his book back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's less of a revenge and more of like a show off thing. It's like Sly says to Clockwork at the end of the game, he's like the Thievius Raccoonus doesn't make the Cooper makes it or
Yeah,
whatever he
yeah,
said. And it's like I thought
which
that
is
was
a
a
good
good line,
line.
but
Yeah,
it's I don't know what I was about to say. I just instantly lost it. That's cool.
I do also like how they clear up like Clockwork knew that uh, Sly's dad had a son, but he didn't kill him because he
Yeah.
wanted to prove that they were nothing without the book.
Yeah, that made Clockwork like twice as good a villain to
Yeah.
me. That's so cool.
Yeah, like
That's like if in Harry Potter, instead of his parents like protecting him, Voldemort was just like, I wanted you to grow up so I could kill you man to man.
yeah.
Like that's I don't think I've ever heard of a villain do that before, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, like honestly, like this game has really good writing in it.
Yeah. No,
Um
I think the dialogue's insanely good
yeah. And
for
that
what the game is.
yeah, and I feel like that's most of what's kept the Sly franchise alive cuz like, you know, the fourth game had the worst and that's what killed the franchise. So,
Yeah.
and I mean like 2 has some pretty good writing in it and I'm sure 3 does also, but like it gets worse as it goes along.
Yeah.
But like the characters are what make the franchise, like the characters and their dialogue, more so than like the gameplay ever did.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like that's the case for a lot of PlayStation series.
Yeah,
Like not so much the focusing not on gameplay so much. Like obviously shit like God of War and Ratchet and Clank, like they're nothing without their gameplay
yeah.
really. But
But PS2
but
was the era of like the character action
yeah.
games and like
Yeah, for
the
sure.
like iconic characters.
Yeah. Like character driven stuff.
Yeah. And like character design, like before like in the PS1 era you had like Spyro and Crash and those are like the main like go-to ones.
Yeah.
And I mean Nintendo had like Mario and stuff already.
Yeah.
But like the PS2 era just has so many like colorful characters.
Right. I mean it's honestly like the fucking best generation as far as like what new things came out
Yeah.
probably. Design wise anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cooper's definitely become one of my favorite PlayStation characters, like reps.
That's good. I'm glad that I could introduce you to this franchise. I knew you would at least like the characters and the writing.
Yeah,
I
like
didn't
if
know how you would feel about the gameplay. I don't know if
yeah,
you I don't know how into
if
like platforming you are.
I'm typically not, but I'm the only type of platforming I really don't care for so much is the shit like Shovel Knight or
Yeah.
even Metroid to an extent. I know Metroid's a lot more in depth than Shovel Knight, but
Yeah.
game like
Like
actual
2D
platformer,
ones.
yeah,
Yeah.
2D platformers, they don't hold my attention very long unless something else in the game is happening.
Mhm.
Which in a lot of 2D platformers, that's all there really is to do. Um, but no, I enjoyed it quite a bit. If a new game was announced, I'd probably end up getting it.
Yeah, and like I said, if they ever put the sequels on PS Plus, I will be recommending them at some point. Because
Yeah, that'd be cool.
if you liked this game, I think that you will love 2 and 3.
Yeah, like I said, if they get better in any way, there's no way I don't end up loving it.
Mm.
Because the first two worlds of this game, man, I was hooked. I was really there, and then the third world, at at that point, before even the chicken minigame was just like
The cherry
it
on
was,
top.
yeah, it was the fake out candle on my shitty birthday cake. Because like 2 or 3 missions before I got to that one, I was like, man, this is kind of just becoming more of the same. Like this is kind of whatever. I think it was around the time the enemy spawners became a thing, where I was
Yeah.
like, okay, this is kind of getting tried out. uh, but then once I got to the fourth world, or even when I got to the Voodoo world's boss fight, once I got to Ruby or whatever, I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. That's kind of cool. You know, the obviously the timing on the buttons is weird, but it was still a cool fight.
Yeah.
And then I kind of got rejuvenated to play the rest of the game.
Yeah, that's something about this game. Like, even when what it's doing, like, isn't really, like, well done, it is unique, and it feels unique.
This is back when games genuinely felt like they had like heart and soul to
Yeah.
them, and it's so many things come out anymore, and you're just like, it's. I feel like everything in a game that comes out today is just a means to make more money out of it.
Yeah.
Whereas with like old PlayStation 2 and 3 and 1 games, it's like, oh, the people that made this game fucking love this game.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just a cool game.
Yeah, these days, like, for every Elden Ring you have, you get, like, 5 Concords.
What is Concord?
It's that fucking shitty PS5, like, Overwatch clone that's coming out.
Oh my god, there's another Overwatch clone?
I think-
Imagine being the company that makes an Overwatch clone after Overwatch is dead in the water.
What
Like,
better
the
time?
fuck? Yeah. It'll be the nail in the coffin for the biggest shooter of all time. One of the biggest shooters, anyway.
And the main problem with games nowadays is that they just look so bland.
Yeah.
Like, when's the last time, like, a franchise that didn't already exist, like came about and actually looked unique and cool?
Fuck, that's a that's a tough question. Honestly, the first thing that came to mind was Ghost of Tsushima, but that's not even unique because that's just like ultra realism
Yeah.
Japan,
Yeah.
which is cool because usually like games have a lot more fantasy. Like usually in a game in that setting that would come out would have like dragons and fucking demons and shit. So like it was refreshing for that game to be its own thing and its own realism to an extent. But as far as like more fantastical games, I don't fucking know. To be honest.
Elden Ring.
I wouldn't even consider that its own
Yeah,
its own
that's true.
thing.
Yeah, yeah.
What games came out in 2024? Yeah, man, I don't know. To be honest.
Because I feel like all the games that, like, I'm usually excited for nowadays, it's like, oh, it's a sequel to a game I like. It's a remake of a game I like.
Right.
It's a game based on, like, a property that I like.
Right.
Yeah, I can't even think of, like, I don't know.
Honestly, like I hate to say it, it might be Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk fucking sucks.
I mean, as far as like the setting and stuff, like being its own thing.
I guess, but like it's just
I
it's just Blade Runner but worse.
Yeah, but Blade Runner doesn't have any video games.
It has a point and click game.
It doesn't have any real video games. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess God of War 4 kind of reinvented itself and became its own thing.
But even then, it's like another ultra realistic game with like some fantastical elements, but like,
Did you just say some fantastical elements talking about fucking
well,
God
it's a
of
bunch
War?
of humans. Like it's a bunch of like realistic human people, and then every
Yeah,
now and then there's like a dragon.
I guess so.
Which I mean,
I don't know.
those games look great, and they
I don't
have
know
like,
if I'd say there's a bunch of human characters. There's only 4 in 2018.
well, there's like Magnia Modi, there's
Oh, I
Baldur,
forgot about them.
yeah. No, like everyone looks like a regular human for the most part.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. Um, yeah, fuck video games. I can't think of any.
I think character design has just become a lot more like subdued these days. Like people are
Yeah,
less willing to take risks on it.
yeah, for sure. It's cause, yeah, it's all fucking like specially marketed for like what they think audiences want, or
Yeah.
like it's not even that. It's what they know from their own stats and research. Like, what is the bare minimum we can do where people will still buy our shit?
Yeah.
And it's like that's just what it is.
See, and that's like video games just cost too much to make now. Cuz
Yeah,
like
it's a
in
shame.
the PS2 era, you could make a game about this raccoon thief and
Yeah,
just like make it from there, and like, oh, people like may or may not buy this, I don't know.
yeah, right.
Like you could take risks and like make new things back then. And
Yeah.
like if it didn't sell as
Nowadays
well
it's
as you
just
thought
indie
it would,
games.
like whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess indie games are like can be pretty uh unique.
That's why I think like the further like AAA series or AAA companies get from like making like good honest games, the more important like indie games will become,
Yeah.
or at least the more popular they'll be, because it's like, when you have a big company, let's say like fucking, I can't, I'm literally blanking on any gaming company. That's crazy. But imagine a company. They just hire a bunch of fucking idiots that have no idea what they're doing. They went to college for this shit just because they're like, oh, I want to make video games when I grow up. It doesn't matter if they have talent or not. They just went to college for it. Now they work at this company,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden they're making a game. Whereas an indie game, it could literally be some dude or chick, whatever, and they had like a dream when they were 5, and they just drew this character, and then like 20 years later they make an indie game with that character because they've had 20 years to fucking think about it.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't get that from like AAA companies.
No, not at all.
It's all just fucking like AI generated bullshit now.
I mean, not all
Or
of them,
no,
but
if it's not AI generated, it's sequels.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's
mean,
entirely true. And all like every new property that comes out now is just fucking lame. Like all I
mhm.
can think of is like Forspoken and like that Concord game that's coming out.
Yeah.
Like I don't they're always so lame. They never look interesting.
Nope.
Like the character designs are always awful.
Right.
You are right about the indie games though. Like I guess there hasn't been any like big ones like recently that I can think of, but like Hollow Knight, like that's iconic now.
Yeah.
Undertale even if some of those character designs are like kind of ugly, like it's
Right.
unique.
Hades is up there, obviously.
Yeah. Although
Which I
that's based on like Greek mythology though.
true. Not to get too far off the deep end here, but I've been playing more of Hades 2 early access.
Mhm.
It's pretty fucking fun, man.
I'm sure it is.
It's pretty cool.
I never got into that first game, but
Yeah.
it's something
I
that I
thought
might get into
about
at some point.
I thought about at one point recommending it, but it's like it's one of those games where like to like actually like finish it and not just beat it, like it takes like 40 hours, so
I
I don't want
mean,
to make you do that.
I would play it if you recommended it.
Yeah, but I mean like to get to get the whole story of it, you'd have to play like that much of it.
I know.
So I don't want to I wouldn't want to do that to you in case, because I know you're already like middling on the gameplay of it. So
Well, to be fair, I played it for like probably 10 minutes and just
true.
wasn't feeling it at that time.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the, because that's definitely one of those games where it's like literally your first like, unless you just beat it super early for some reason, like if you just got really good out of nowhere. It's one of those games where like your first 50 runs, it's just gonna get more fun every run because
Yeah,
you just unlock more shit to do. Uh, but anyway, we got a little off topic. Sly Cooper's pretty cool.
it is. I
Um,
think that we're about done talking about it. Was there anything specific that you wanted to talk about that we haven't already?
I appreciate the extra costume in Ghost of Tsushima more now.
Was there an extra costume?
There's or I don't know if it's a costume, but there's like a helmet or some shit you can get, I think,
Oh, that's
for
cool.
Sly Cooper. Yeah, I
Yeah,
only know
because
that because I there's a trophy for getting it.
yeah, the guys that made Ghost of Tsushima and Infamous made a Sly Cooper.
Yeah. So I mean, I like I said, I wouldn't mind playing another one of these at some point. I think it'd be cool. Especially if by God's grace a new one came out. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's been so long since Thieves in Time came out. It's kind of crazy they haven't done anything.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. I feel like PlayStation's pretty much given up on everything that isn't fucking like Ratchet and Clank or God of War.
Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised Ratchet and Clank is still around.
Yeah.
Like after how terrible the movie was. And I mean, I guess that game was good and it like sold well.
Yeah.
And Rift Apart obviously was a success.
Yeah.
So
Oh, you know what I just thought of? This is
what?
actually really smart from Sony. So check this out. I bet the movie coming out with that game was like such a smart business decision actually, because they just reuse a lot of the cutscenes like from the movie to the game, vice versa, whatever it is.
Mhm.
So they save money on the animation, but then they make two different profits.
Yeah.
I never thought of that. That's actually really that's probably why it's still alive is because they got money from movie tickets and money from the game.
Yeah, which I feel like probably like not a whole lot of people went and saw the movie, but I mean people do
No.
like that. I like that game. It's a good game. It's a bastardization of the first game, but it's fun.
Yeah, right.
Has Sylvester Stallone in it as the big red robot.
That is so funny.
Yeah, you'll have to see that movie sometime. It's
Yeah,
just awful.
I'd, I'd love to watch it sometime.
If we ever do get Ratchet 1 on a PS Plus, like downloadable, I would love to do that and then like talk about the movie or something on top of it, just
Yeah,
like how night and day it is.
yeah, I'd be down to do that at some point.
And who knows, we might talk about that remake of the game also, because I mean it is a
Yeah,
good game. It's just the story is awful.
right. There's a lot of games to get through, man,
Yeah.
on this gamer tour.
Let me make sure there wasn't anything I wanted to talk about that we didn't already. No, I don't think so.
Okay, very cool.
That was a good discussion, I think.
Yeah,
I'm glad that you enjoyed the game. I'm glad that I could introduce you to the series.
of course. Yeah, it's another one added to the books of games I should have played 15 years ago.
I'm pretty excited to see what you have chosen as your next game.
Oh yeah, you are, aren't you?
I'm pretty excited.
Uh, so this game is a little bit of a shorter game, but we were talking about indie games earlier.
Hmm.
That's your hint. Do you want to guess what indie game I have of the millions that I've chosen for us to play?
I honestly don't know.
That's all right. It's we're doing Hotline Miami.
Ooh!
If you remember in the BioShock episode, you talked about that, or
Yeah.
I think it was after the episode, after we finished recording. You had mentioned something about wanting to play that at some point, and I had already known at that point that was my next game. So I was like, "Yeah, you should download that." Yeah,
Do you want to also do Hotline Miami too?
I was
'Cause
gonna say we can, yeah,
I will be down for that if you want to do it.
because I haven't beaten two, or one for that matter. I've gotten further in one though.
Hmm.
Uh,
I've beaten one
I j-
before. I don't think I've ever beaten two.
I do like the soundtrack in 2 more, I
Yeah.
think. So, but yeah, it's I'm looking forward to playing it. I know whenever I first made my top games list, I was going to show it to you, and then I remember that I had told you the game that is currently in the last
Yeah.
spot on the list, which is now revealed to be Hotline Miami. That was a game I was planning on having us pick.
Hmm.
So I've had this one in the oven for a while, but yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it. It's pretty fun. I played the first few levels like a week ago or something to like, just like really decide if that's what I wanted to do, and it
Hmm.
is.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Those games are great. Two is honestly nowhere near as good as one, but I would be down to play it.
Yeah, we
Um,
can do that.
I think it is longer.
It
But
definitely is.
yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what we do.
But yeah, since the first one is a really short game anyway, so I wouldn't mind doing both of them.
Yeah, like I said, it wouldn't take too long.
Let me make sure I have them installed on my computer, because I will not be playing the console ports of those.
Hell no. That's why I've never beaten it. It's because I've only ever played it on console.
Yes, I have both of them installed on my computer.
Excellent. Nice.
Oh, yeah, that'll be our first PC game that we talk about too. Then
Yeah, well, very excited.
after I shit on the PC in my intro talking about EDF.
Yeah. Like I said, man, indie games,
Yeah.
they're the come up.
Yeah, honestly.
Triple A PC games are fucking trash.
Yeah.
Tragic.
Well, that
Yeah,
that is
that's our
gonna
next game.
yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to play those games again.
Hell yeah.
Well, if there's nothing more you would like to talk about, I
There's
guess
not.
we'll go ahead and end it there.
I guess that's it.
Levi, if you would like to play Hotline Miami, I don't know if you have a computer or not. If you have a computer, you should play it on there. Um, but you could get it on the PlayStation if you really want to. I don't think you can really be spoiled for Hotline Miami though. Like
No, I think
there's kind of a story, but it's like
I think a lot of the story.
incomprehensible.
Yeah, a lot of the story is just like speculative.
Yeah, especially in the
Which is
second game.
yeah.
But I can't wait to play those, and I
Yes.
am excited for our discussion on them next time. Hopefully, there will be some like announcements we can talk about.
Yeah, probably. Hopefully.
Yeah,
I won't say probably, but hopefully.
hopefully yes. But yeah, we'll reconvene next time to talk about Hotline Miami 1 and 2.